Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
And welcome back to the Dr. Teresa Nicasio Show. This is a place of inspiration, education, and hope for a kinder, healthier, and more sustainable world. And how great to be on the heels of this incredible Sound Healing Day and Day of Love. It's just fantastic. On this show, we talk with thought leaders about the things that matter most to you. Our guests enlighten and empower us with simple solutions and new perspectives about the toughest of life's challenges we often avoid because they can feel so overwhelming to face. I'd like to start by giving a special thanks to our show sponsor, New Roots Herbal, for making this show possible, as the makers of Acidophilus Ultra and so many other great products. They've got some crazy, cool turmeric and ginger and all kinds of different kinds of products, food-type products, as well as their other ones. They take special pride in offering the highest quality natural health products that we know we can trust, which is awesome. Anyway, if you want to learn more about this great company and its extensive line of supplements and other natural health products, visit newrootsherbal.com. And if you'd like to advertise on or be a segment sponsor to share your products or services with this show's wonderful audience of more than 350,000 monthly listeners, contact me directly through my TeresaNicasio.com website. And that's Teresa with an H, so it's Teresa, Nicasio with an N like Nancy, ICA, two S's, SSIO as in octopus.com. Contact me through that website, and I'll get back with you. And be sure to join us next time when we'll have former Department of Justice civil rights attorney Kate Nicholson with us, sharing her crazy riveting story of debilitating pain and her paradigm-shifting take on opioids and pain management. This is going to be a crazy, amazing show. It's going to open your mind and, you're not even going to believe it. She's going to be challenging the current narrative that demonizes opioids, and she's going to be replacing it instead with a humane human rights perspective about how opioids are, for many people, a critical tool in integrative pain management when used properly. And it was a lifesaver for her. I mean, this is a show you're really going to want to watch and probably tell your loved ones about as well. For today, I'm so excited. I can't tell you how happy I am to have our guests that we have with us on the other line now. She is so special. She's insightful. She's funny. Lady Amelia Rizzo. You probably know her as Amelia Rizzo if you're familiar with her work. So she's been doing around the world, New York, and she's here in Vancouver now, but she's been everywhere, in Australia and in Europe and getting awards literally everywhere she goes. She's great with awards. Anyway, she is here, and she's going to be opening your heart with her brilliant perspective about love and life and joy and empowerment and sexuality and women's issues, and most importantly and surprisingly, glitter. I met Lady Rizzo this past fall at the premiere of Canada's first gourmet cabaret cirque ever, called Bacio Rosso, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it, you have to see it. I've been getting all my friends, everybody I meet has been going to Bacio Rosso and can't thank me enough for telling them about it. But in terms of Bacio Rosso, Lady Rizzo was actually the master of ceremonies, the mistress of ceremonies, and she is mind-blowing. I don't even know how to introduce her. She is multi-passionate, extremely gifted, compassionate, and so as I was thinking about today's show, I'm like, how am I going to introduce Lady Riso? It's like, where do you begin? And then I had done a post, one of my Instagram posts. One of her fans, she wrote to me, she says, I am a great fan of Lady Riso. She's a force of nature. And I'm like, bingo, that's it. She's a force of nature. And as you're going to see and hear during our conversation today, I'd like to give a very brief intro, but I'm not going to, I just feel like some of it's going to be a bit goofy because there's so many accomplishments that we can't even address. So I want to encourage you to go to the website, teresanicasio.com website, where I've written up and shared at least a sampling of some of her great accomplishments. But amongst others, she is an award-winning comedian, actress, and singer, not the least being a Grammy Award from her collaboration with Yo-Yo Ma and other legends like some of my faves like James Taylor, Dave Brubeck, and Diana Krall. But that aside, I have to say that I think perhaps Lady Riso's greatest contribution to this planet and to all of you, all of us, is her courage and her embodiment of what it means to be a woman and to love yourself unabashedly and live fully in your personal power. And so I thought I'd start before bringing her on. I wanted to share with you a little snippet from one of her, I just one of her social media snippets. She just oozes with wisdom, and I thought this was so poetic. I'm just going to read this piece to you, this little piece of a piece that she had posted just recently. The queen inside has everything I need in her hourglass. Yes, work went on to fluffing and smoothing the outside, but we hold luxury in our breath and reap its benefits when our eyelids flutter down to gaze at the glamour within. It's a state of mind, baby. Amelia, thank you so much for joining us today and for all the work you're doing around empowerment, acceptance, and love. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Teresa. It's so good to be here.
You too.
I love that introduction. I have to wake up and listen to that introduction every day now.
Well, it's going to be recorded, so you'll have it anytime you want it. A little reminder of that glamour that's inside of you.
Oh, yes. Good morning. I'm not usually awake this early.
Yeah, I wanted to give you special thanks. You work so hard. I mean, you worked in the evenings. You've been working. You're doing Bacio Rosso. You want to just tell the audience a little bit about what you're doing with Bacio Rosso, because it's literally paradigm shifting as well. It's an incredible show.
Yeah. So I'm doing this show. It's a cabaret cirque. Gourmet cabaret cirque experience, and it's in one of the most beautiful locations. It's an antique Belgian Spiegel tent. That these were made in the 30s in Europe, and they still are around today. And they're these Moulin Rouge type. And it's almost like a fantasy. They are tents, but it's not like a big top circus tent. It's made of velvet, of beveled mirrors, of wood, and I love it in Vancouver. I've been in several Spiegel tents around the world, and I've performed in London, Edinburgh, Sydney, New Zealand, Seattle, New York, in different Spiegel tents, and actually, strangely enough, sometimes the same Spiegel tent in a different part of the world. But this one is a new one that I've been in, and why I really love this location is because we're right nestled in the middle of Queen Elizabeth Park, and most of the Spiegel tents I've been in have been in kind of heavily traversed areas of cities, and this, it's like a mirage. You're just walking in this gorgeous park, you pass a rose garden, and then there it is, just, it's like a Fellini movie.
It really is, and it. I tell I've told my friends, and several of them have done this. I'm like, so this one friend, her boyfriend, it was his 50th birthday. I'm like, take him there, but don't tell him where you're going to go. Just say you're going for a walk at the park, and then you're going to stumble upon this thing, and then you're going to enter into it. And so there's some other people as well. They didn't tell people what they were walking into, and I love how you described it, because when you said it's an experience, it's not just theater, it's not just a cabaret, it's not musical theater, it's not just improv, it's literally you're walking into a different time, a different place, and it's magical.
Yeah, and there's so many different. I mean, the talents of the cast are ranging from just incredible cirque artists and original cirque artists. I love Jimmy Gonzalez's juggling. He juggles with clay, and as he's juggling, it becomes more and pieces of clay. So he starts with 2, and then it becomes 7. And he's such a beautiful mover. And I love Anne Bernard. She's originally Belgian, but then lives in Montreal, and she's a boleadores, which is an Argentinian rhythm dance with little balls on strings, and it's just so passionate. The acts. I mean, it's wonderful to see what these people have dedicated, these niche arts that these people have dedicated their lives to, and to be part of it, and to helm it. I love leading the space and being the guide. One of my favorite things in life is to acknowledge that I have the gift of guiding a room, and so I love to do it.
Yeah, and boy, do you ever, guiding that room and unabashed. I mean, one of the things, it's like unabashedly. I love that word. I think that captures you too, and embracing who you are. And when I was learning about you, first you were a punk rocker. I mean, how the hell did you go from being a punk rocker to this queen of glitter?
Oh well, I was a teenager. And rebellious, but I grew up from very, very liberal hippies, and so I wasn't rebellious like with philosophy, because everything they taught me was right, pretty much. But I had to be rebellious in some way, and so I rebelled against, the jam bands and blues that they listen to, which still have their validity as an adult, I see, but I went to a music that they didn't like, and places with mosh pits and listened to music with anger in it, because it had a ferocity that I liked. I enjoyed being fierce, and because I think that part of my performance is acknowledging that the whole spectrum of emotion is valid and beautiful, and so embracing anger and channeling it through art, because I think just kind of pushing away anger and sadness doesn't really work. No. It's better to transmute it to set fire to it in a way that is embracing it. I also do that with shame in my performance. I embrace it by exposing it and using it in performance, and therefore diffusing it.
Yeah. Well, when I try to describe who you are and the kind of performer and even the kind of singer you are in that experience of being in your presence, I say, Lady Reza, she's sort of like a combo of Bette Midler and Katie Lang and Judy Garland and Aretha Franklin, all wrapped up in one glittery ball, Yes. You're fierce. I love that. You're a warrior, and you're fierce and you're fearless. Not that you don't have fear, but you face the fears. You enter the discomfort of the reality, the messiness of life.
Oh, right. Well, like Brene Brown said, well, I love her take on vulnerability, being the only way to find strength. And there was a really great New York Times article written about me, and the subtitle was "Vulnerability is the New Strength." Mm-hmm. And I just love that just really encapsulated how I feel about that. And that it is truly the only actually frightening thing is to share your vulnerability.
Mm-hmm. And then you take that vulnerability and the anger and the sorrow and the joy and the ecstasy, and then you sprinkle glitter all over it. And can you talk a little bit about that? Because this is one of your unique artistic abilities.
Yeah, I think that. So the transition from kind of the grungy punk rocker into the luxurious, diva. Part of that is, I think, part of my desire to go that direction. I was very inspired, number one, by the neo-burlesque movement that happened in New York when I moved there. It was happening like pioneers of that movement, like this amazing performer Dirty Martini and Julie Atlas Muse and world famous Bob. Those are just some characters in the scene at that time that were taking this old idea of burlesque and striptease and reframing it for a feminist consciousness, and taking these kind of ideas that had just been a little bit maybe repressive and meant only for the male gaze, and turning it and reclaiming this amazing imagery, this sex kitten or diva or the feminine trappings, really, like corsetry, high heels, lashes, and then because I was drawn to those things anyway, but I kind of pushed them away because of my perceived. I perceived them as maybe a jail, and then I think there was a transition watching these women where I realized that this was ultimately the way that I was going to truly love myself as a woman. Which is not the answer for everybody, like extreme femininity. But I always felt like I had a very healthy masculine side. I'm loud, I'm audacious, I'm bossy, I'm a leader, I'm raunchy. I do things sometimes, not always, but without having totally prepared for it, which is kind of a masculine trait. Women tend to over-prepare and undersell themselves, whereas I have a very healthy confidence of selling myself, perhaps beyond my abilities. But then, it's that fake it till you make it place,
but you're not letting the judgment, that the internalized judgment that we've it's become such a part of our culture, keep you from being who you are.
Yeah. And, it's rational. It's absolutely rational, and that's probably why it's a more commonly feminine trait to say no until you really master things. But this is, a thing that has kept, I think, women from power in a way, is because we've been taught to hold back our power until it's totally ready, because we could get into a whole list of subtle misogyny in the world. But this story of how I saw these women, and I recognized that there was a missing step in me truly loving my own power as a woman, and that step seemed to be around adornment, which seems like perhaps a shallow subject, glitter, makeup, lashes, jewelry, gown. But there was something in this step of adornment that was almost sacred to me, and the process of becoming this alter ego of Lady Rizzo, which was not the person I was born as, was just a window into a side of myself that I had pushed away. And that side, I think, is the ultimate, goddess within. I am not a goddess, but every person has a channel of the feeling of goddess within them. And so this is just the way that I honor this divine light, which is, sparkle. And our attraction to sparkle, some scientists in 2011 did a long research into it, and it turns out it's derived from an innate need to seek out fresh water. So it's a real thing that we are drawn to shiny things, and that's how I express it, through
That's
mica
fantastic.
on my eyelids or, rhinestones on my ears.
Yeah, I love it. Outrageous and really just fully in that place. So, this whole idea of the goddess within, the sparkle within. Let's talk a little bit more about that when we're going to need to take a little break, folks. But we're going to talk more about the healing power of glitter, that inner sparkle, that goddess God within, when we return. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Acidophilus Ultra from New Roots Herbal is your go-to product for great health. To maintain potency, Acidophilus Ultra is protected by a natural water-based enteric coating. This daily probiotic supports your health in so many ways. It helps boost your immune system, aids digestion and bloating, and that's just for starters. So remember the name, Acidophilus Ultra from New Roots Herbal. Get some now. To find a store near you, visit newrootsherbal.com. That's newrootsherbal.com.
Audiobooks gives you instant access to over 50,000 of the best sellers and hottest book titles in romance, mystery, fiction, and many other genres. Just visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on Audiobooks to get started.
YumFoodForLiving.com is the place to get easy, allergy-free recipes, all free of sugar, gluten, and dairy. But that's not all you'll get when you visit YumFoodForLiving.com. You'll get resources for all kinds of things like wellness articles, videos, podcasts, a blog, all to help you create easy, healthy living. There's even a 50-page downloadable book introducing you to the philosophy of Yum. Don't wait. Visit YumFoodForLiving.com. YumFoodForLiving.com. That's YumFoodForLiving.com.
If you like to spend your television viewing time learning about some of the things that you may have missed in history class, or if history was your favorite subject, then you should check out the link to the History Channel on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page. Order DVD sets by series or by subject matter right from our homepage while you still enjoy your favorite HealthyLife.net show.
Being inspired by a speaker while learning everyday positive information that you can use to help your life is exactly what Dr. Teresa Nicasio does when she speaks in front of your group. From healthcare professionals to special needs parenting and everything in between, Dr. Teresa Nicasio can customize topics for your group on everything from health to psychology. To book Dr. Teresa Nicasio as a speaker for your group, visit YumFoodForLiving.com or call 604-445-6463. That's 604-445-6463.
You're listening to HealthyLife.net, the radio network that brings positive talk with positive change to make your world a little better.
Welcome back to the Dr. Teresa Nicasio Show. If you're just joining us, today we're here with Grammy Award-winning singer-actress comedian and provocative cabaret diva, Lady Riso, talking about the unique and unexpected power of glitter and embracing that the inner sparkle and manifesting it in the inner and outer parts of ourselves. So you were just talking about the goddess within before the break, Amelia, and it reminds me a lot of the story of the Golden Buddha. Do you know that story?
No.
Yeah, the story of the Golden Buddha.
Can you give me crib notes?
I'll mess up, I'm sure, some of the actual details, but it's a true story. And basically, in Thailand, there was a bunch of monks, and they had this solid gold, 10-foot tall golden Buddha statue. And but then there was a point when there was some people who were kind of evil forces, if you will, who were going across the land, raping and pillaging, and at this Buddhist temple, they realized that they were probably all going to be killed, and nothing was going to remain, and that their golden Buddha would probably be taken, and my guess would be melted down and used for other things. And so they were like, well, we're all going to be killed, but you know what? We want to protect at least our golden Buddha, and we don't want anything to happen to it. So what they did was genius. They covered it with, I think it was like about a foot of clay all the way around the entire this 10-foot structure, and they made it into a clay Buddha. And sure enough, it turns out when all these warriors came across the land, everybody was destroyed. But they taking this gaudy clay statue was not top of their list, and it was protected. And it wasn't discovered though until many years later when there was again Buddhist monks. They were going to be moving from point A to point B, but as they were moving the statue. They did want to take the statue with them. It started to crack, and so in the night, the head Buddhist monk went out with like a flashlight or something and was inspecting the damage. And when he was looking through it, he noticed a glimmer. He noticed a glittering, glistening view in the crack. And they ended up chiseling down. They discovered under all that crap, under all that protection, was a perfect golden Buddha. And for me, as a psychologist, that's just like, and I share this story with my clients all the time, that I see that that's really our task in life, is we do learn to develop defensive strategies, those non-vulnerable strategies, ways to try to protect ourselves, which, how we, on the outside, what we do to our bodies, how we, developing bad habits, whatever. And we sometimes we get confused and we start to redefine ourselves and think that we are defined by that clay. When the truth is, under all that shit is this perfect golden, glittery being of light.
Yeah.
And that's what I think you're doing.
Yeah, I have a new mantra that I've been saying, and also one of the ideas that I'm working on for this book I'm writing, and it's the mantra I wake up with is, what if there's nothing wrong with me?
I love that. I love that.
And that's the question. Like, what if there's nothing wrong with me? And it is really beautiful. At parenthood, I'm a mother of a 3-year-old, and so I'm still a new parent. But it is amazing to see the perfection of childhood, and also the raw emotions that come, on either way that we see, and everything that he does in a tantrum, I know that I feel inside at times, and I just don't really let it out. And I feel it.
Whether it's a tantrum to the sheer bliss. I love that sheer bliss when he was going through the car wash for the first time. That was so sweet.
I know. I was trying to explain to him that like over 4,000 people have seen him go through a car wash now, because that video has been
oh my God, it's viral,
so shared, that's really, I love that story. I think it's kind of an interesting reverse thing that part of the adornment is about putting on things, to actually reveal, and every night in the show, I spend an hour in front of the makeup mirror, which could feel like a waste of time, but it's ephemeral. I wash it off. But something about that time is like a meditation to me. It's also it's like painting, and a truly ephemeral form of painting that's not going to last. But in that transition, I am centering myself to a place that is absolutely about living in the present moment, because that's the way that I can guide as an MC or a leader or someone, hold space for others. I use performance, as in a way, in viewing our world, our growingly secular world, we lose gathering in intimate spaces, with shared focus. This idea of, there was an old Peggy Lee song called Alone Together. Alone together. And I love that idea of being alone together, witnessing an idea without screens, without phones, without, TVs, but witnessing live, as Nicholas Negroponte said, meet space, witnessing someone in performance and ideas and experiencing to get them together, but through our own personal experiences, our own funnel of reception. Mm-hmm. So that's truly what I feel like my job in the world is being able to lead moments of in a way, even though who would call the nightclub, or the dance hall, or the even the theater or the music venue, a sacred space, but through these attractions of the glitter, the luxury, the sound of music and humor. Mm-hmm. This is my church of glitter.
Well, there's that raw, authentic vulnerability with, especially with the improv aspect of what you represent, and actually some of the others even in the Baciarosso show. But it's one thing I really love about it is it's not. I mean, well, it can be just funny for funny's sake. There's an intelligence to it. There's a wisdom in even not taking ourselves so seriously. There's a wisdom in I see you as that combination of, you put on all the glitter and the glitz and the makeup, and then, maybe next segment we can talk a little bit, we're getting short of time here, but talking about taking it all off like you did in the Entitled Feminist show, or in the when you on stage nursing your son on in another program, and there's a freshness about that impermanence, and there's this very existential element of humility with that we put it on and we take it off. So maybe we can talk about that in the next little bit.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, folks, I can't believe the time just flies. We're going to have to have a little break here, but we'll be right back with more radical self-love and flirtation, and really reconnecting with our bodies and minds, souls, with Lady Risa when we come back. Don't go away.
There's a book that makes it so easy to embrace a healthy, gluten-free lifestyle, even kids will like it. Filled with heartwarming stories, food as medicine health tips, easy allergy-free recipes, and creative culinary inventions, the award-winning book Yum by Dr. Teresa Nicasio is your source for all of this and more. So make gluten-free living easy, tasty, and fun. Get Yum, plant-based recipes for a gluten-free diet at Amazon.com, or visit yumfoodforliving.com. That's yumfoodforliving.com.
You have too little time to shop, so try Farm Fresh to You. They deliver organic food the way nature intended, delivered straight to your home or office, economically. Visit our web advertiser page and click on Farm Fresh to You now.
When you have a food allergy or dietary limitation, Dr. Teresa Nicasio knows it's hard to give up the foods you love, so she decided to put on her chef hat and give you affordable, personalized culinary consultations that will light up your taste buds. You'll explore substitute ingredients so you can enjoy your favorite foods again. She'll even help you make food preparation easy and guide you on your path to healthy living. And to get started, all you have to do is call 604-445-6463. That's 604-445-6463.
If you're not in the U.S., listen up. SureTrader is one of the most trusted and reliable names in share trading. With 6-to-1 leverage and other perks, SureTrade is the best for penny stocks and day trades. To find out more, visit our advertiser page and click on the SureTrader banner.
YumFoodForLiving.com is the place to get easy, allergy-free recipes, all free of sugar, gluten, and dairy. But that's not all you'll get when you visit YumFoodForLiving.com. You'll get resources for all kinds of things like wellness articles, videos, podcasts, a blog, all to help you create easy, healthy living. There's even a 50-page downloadable book introducing you to the philosophy of Yum. Don't wait. Visit YumFoodForLiving.com. YumFoodForLiving.com. That's YumFoodForLiving.com.
HealthyLife.net, the positive radio network.
All right, folks, welcome back. You're listening to the Dr. Teresa Nicasio Show. And if you are just tuning in, we're here today with international award-winning singer, actress, and cabaret comedian Lady Rizzo, who's talking about how she uses art and glitter and sexuality and flirtation for personal and social transformation. And just before the break, we were starting to talk. We were talking a lot about putting the glitter on and then also taking it off, the impermanence element. And so let's carry on from there, because you've done some pretty mind-blowing things, including there was the show that you did for 3 years. You were on tour, the Untitled Feminist Show. Maybe we'll start with that.
Yes. Yeah, I was so lucky to be a part of this show that was helmed by this New York theater auteur and MacArthur Fellow named Young Jean Lee, an amazing artist, Korean American, and she works in this way where she gathers people around to help her explore questions, and also one of the things she does is that she writes a list of a show that she would never want to make, and then that sounds horrible to her, and then she goes about making it. So finding the way into what repels her, and this one she wrote, she wanted to make a feminist show that was completely nude with no words in English, and so she invited several. She specifically wanted to work with women that made their own shows, made their own work from different disciplines. And so you had 6 or 7, I can't remember if there's 6, 7, or 8, alpha women, not all women, but female-born. So we started the project with an incredible trans woman named Bianca Lee as well. But in the end, when it was decided that everyone was going to be completely nude the whole time, she opted out, which is understandable. Nudity is not for everyone, and especially an hour of nudity. The biggest struggles in that for me and someone else who came from the burlesque world that was named World Famous Bob, who is an amazing, giantess goddess of a woman and also hilarious. And she came from the nightlife world and actually had kind of masqueraded as a drag queen. Many people thought that she was she was a man dressed up as a woman for many years.
Oh, that's so funny.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. And the hardest thing for both of us was not being nude. We were okay with that, but it was not wearing any makeup or wearing heels. You know, because you have your own. So without makeup was truly being naked for me. It was hard. I realized that is another kind of protection that I have. But it was an amazing process and product. It was very successful. We toured for 3 years all around the world. Like, you know, I got to perform in Amsterdam and it went to, so many countries. You know, I had never performed in Germany before, and we did Berlin and Hamburg and Austria. And yeah, it went to Croatia. I loved being part of this show, even though it was a struggle. So yeah, no words in English, no clothes. I sang a song in Welsh, and yet it was a completely impactful and resonating piece. You know, and much to the power of young Jean's collaborative spirit, that she truly chose amazing rock star performers, including myself.
Of course, yeah. Yes. Well, and that was a pretty powerful, you know, because that was a few years ago, and that was before the whole Me Too movement, and
yes.
But you can see some overlap, I would imagine.
Yes, well, yeah, I mean, obviously, the Me Too movement wasn't born out of nowhere. There's been obviously, decades and decades long struggle, feminism, first wave, second wave, suffragette, etc. We've been kind of slowly gaining ground with the radical notion that women are people too. But
that's pretty radical.
But this piece, definitely it's exciting to be part of this time with the Me Too movement. It's exciting to be in a time with more visibility about the kind of secret, hidden away abuses. You know, obviously everyone is very vocally against, like, violent rape, but there's so many other shades of oppression that have been forced against women, especially. Also men, you know, men abuse other men. But the Me Too movement has really shone a light in my own shame about silencing myself when men have used power against me, and the idea that, you know, mainly where it started with these actresses and in Hollywood, which is just, you know, a hotbed of this kind of behavior, is these women, you know, it really shines to the light of that women didn't feel like they could. One of the only ways that they could gain power, true power, is by, you know, succumbing to the agreements of these, you know, Hollywood studio leads, and especially, like, beautiful women. You know, this is their agency, this is their currency, and it makes me a little bit happy that I didn't really feel like I came into my physical beauty until an older woman. Like, I felt like an ugly duckling as a teenager, and so I think it saved me from some abuses, you know. But it's an exciting time to be part of this movement.
Well, the universality of it, right? It's not. It's you know, if you think that only certain people would be abused, what's really come forward, and it's the voice of the silencing, and that it's time to stand up and speak out, and about having personal choice, whether you choose to put makeup on or not, whether you choose to color your hair or not, and there seems to be a whole gray fox movement going on for women too. It's like it's not that the hair necessarily matters, whether you color or don't color, but it's really about that choice and about being who you are and not putting on a mask in order to earn or to be deserving of love or opportunities or affection or any of that.
Absolutely, and the same thing is flipped, is that there was, I think, a real backlash in feminism where, and this is where that neo-burlesque movement came out of too, is that if you do, put on makeup or wear high heels, somehow you're not a feminist, and that's just like couldn't be further from the truth. Is that the true, feminism is, truly about equality. And equality and personal choice. You're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. The freedom to express your individual glow, and I think that's why I do come back to glitter and light. Is that the feeling that I have when I'm really in flow? It's about light. It's about reflection. It's about reflection of the beauty in the world, and that's why Paleolithic ancestors used mica in their cave paintings,
Right.
And Neanderthals actually used makeup. They found that they used they found makeup in shells, and it's truly a sign of symbolic thinking that we're using adornment to reflect the world.
That's really, really neat, and I love how it's, you brought it back to the whole reflections of water and that the naturalness of that. Yes. So, folks, we are going to talk more. I want to hear more about your book and also about your collaboration with Yo-Yo Ma. That must have been mind-blowing. So we can talk about some of those things and a little bit more about flirtation with our wonderful Lady Riso here. So stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
Acidophilus Ultra from New Roots Herbal is your go-to product for great health. To maintain potency, Acidophilus Ultra is protected by a natural water-based enteric coating. This daily probiotic supports your health in so many ways. It helps boost your immune system, aids digestion and bloating, and that's just for starters. So remember the name, Acidophilus Ultra from New Roots Herbal. Get some now. To find a store near you, visit newrootsherbal.com. That's newrootsherbal.com.
VMware is a fresh perspective for virtualization on the cloud. Shaping the future, this all-in-one platform delivers virtual cloud service on any cloud. Visit our HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on VMware.
When you have a food allergy or dietary limitation, Dr. Teresa Nicasio knows it's hard to give up the foods you love, so she decided to put on her chef hat and give you affordable, personalized culinary consultations that will light up your taste buds. You'll explore substitute ingredients so you can enjoy your favorite foods again. She'll even help you make food preparation easy and guide you on your path to healthy living. And to get started, all you have to do is call 604-445-6463. That's 604-445-6463.
For the best in business class travel, count on Cheapo Air. Cheapo Air has the best price guarantee, 24/7 customer service, and easy booking online or by phone. To experience your hassle-free journey, start by going to HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on Cheapo Air.
There's a book that makes it so easy to embrace a healthy, gluten-free lifestyle, even kids will like it. Filled with heartwarming stories, food as medicine health tips, easy allergy-free recipes, and creative culinary inventions, the award-winning book Yum by Dr. Teresa Nicasio is your source for all of this and more. So make gluten-free living easy, tasty, and fun. Get Yum, plant-based recipes for a gluten-free diet at Amazon.com or visit yumfoodforliving.com. That's yumfoodforliving.com.
Radio your way. HealthyLife.net.
All right, Folks, welcome back to the Dr. Teresa Nicasio Show. We're here today with Baccio Rosso's cabaret diva and Grammy Award-winning Lady Rizzo, talking about glitter and the art of flirtation as an unlikely means of healing, self-love, and empowerment. And just at the end of the break here, we were talking, if you haven't been to her Instagram page, it's one of the most entertaining ones you'll ever find. And just last night she posted a very fabulous I
just came out of the bathroom and all the male acrobats were doing these. It was only them in the warm-up space doing these, kind of very sexy exercises. And so I made a little video and I scored it with my own moans.
That was so funny, yeah. And I also loved how the one guy had his face covered too. That cracked me up.
I do.
Anyway, so you got it's the Lady Rizzo again. All the links are on the TeresaNicasio.com website. When you go there, you go to her page and you can get links to everything. And before we forget, I just want to say she's got some albums. Do you want to talk about your albums?
Yes. I have two full-length albums out on iTunes and also, the streaming platforms. Violet and Indigo. I was taking so long to make a first album, and I was taking forever to name it, and then I kind of put this just long-term goal. I said I'm going to make a 7-album Spectrum series. So we started with Violet. Now we're Indigo.
Oh, that's where that came from.
Blue. Yeah.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
So just exploring, because I feel a lot of resonance with colors, and I think it's also my love for light, light and color.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And speaking of albums, you were a part of that big collaboration with Yo-Yo Ma.
Yes.
With, James Taylor. Oh, tell us about that. How did that happen? And that must have been amazing.
Oh, that was incredible. It was such a delight to be part of that, and obviously wonderful because I got a Grammy through it. But because it was an album of duets, all the people that duetted with Yo-Yo got a Grammy, and Diana Krall and
James Taylor.
Back, and who's the other one? Oh yeah, James Taylor. I know. How amazing is that album?
I mean, it's like, yeah, how amazing is this?
I know, especially because I grew up listening to him. My parents were, always.
Oh, they're hippies like me. Uh-huh.
And Yo-Yo was just amazing. He's such a beautiful person. He's very Buddha-like. He's really a source of light and centered action. But it was interesting because I went into the Sony Classical Music Studios for the meeting beforehand, and I said, "Oh, this is the part where." Yo-Yo and I will improv back and forth." And they kind of looked around, and there was a strange pause, and they said, "Yo-Yo doesn't improv." And I said, "What? How can you be such an acclaimed musician and not improv?" They were like, "It's a different skill." And that's what's interesting is also, I don't have the skill to take complicated notes like that off of a page and just express it so quickly like he does, but I have the skill of being able to improv, and we all have these different gifts. And then we can come together and collaborate. And it's not about my friend Taylor Mack, who's an incredible theater maker, and please look into his work, Taylor Mack. He has this quote that I always remember, which is comparison is violence. The moment we start, truly getting into the sinkhole of comparison, you are committing an act of violence upon yourself and on others.
Exactly, yes.
So, so Yo-Yo Ma doesn't have to feel sad when he compares himself to my amazing improv skills.
That's right, not at all. And you know what, we don't have a ton of time, but for sure I want you to mention you're on tour, and you're in Vancouver right now with Baccio Rosso, and then you're heading to Seattle. And give us a few plugs here about where you're going to be.
Yeah, I'm heading to Seattle. I'm doing a month. There's another company like Baccio Rosso called Teatro ZinZanni, which was actually the original company that Scott Malcolm, the director of Baccio Rosso, directed for. And it's a similar thing with a multi-course meal all these amazing entertainers from around the world. This show has a lot of amazing clowns and comedians. I'm very excited to work with some of the clowns that are part of the show because I just love making people laugh. Truly, people don't walk away always remembering your words, but they always remember how you made them feel. I think that's a bastardization of Maya Angelou quote. And I'm committed to the art of mass seduction, and that's truly what I do. And through the insanity of also seduction and love and sex, such a funny thing when we think about it. But so I love to take this idea of seducing random audience members or all audience members and take it to extremes, and that's my clown is the clown, the flirt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
what your book's about, no? Your book is about
it's about my book. I'm exploring this idea, and I'm also in the first stages, but I'm exploring this idea of flirtation as prayer. I love to. And it's the way that I kind of walk through the world, and I don't feel as down. Or humans are fallible. It's easy to get depressed. It's easy to want to hurt people. And I truly believe that flirtation with everything I can see that has beauty, a flower, a tree, snow on the branches, a 90-year-old woman, a little boy. I flirt without the idea that it's going to end in sex. We're so closed off to flirtation meaning sex, and it doesn't. It doesn't. Flirtation is an art of itself, and that's how I work through the world.
Perfect. That's a beautiful place to end. Thank you for joining us today, Amelia. We just loved having you here.
Oh, it's great to talk to you.
Oh, and thanks all of you for listening and tuning in today. Again, I want to thank our wonderful show sponsor, New Roots Herbal, for making this show possible. And be sure to join us next time when we're going to hear a whole new take on the opioid crisis and addiction. I'm Teresa, folks, and this has been the Dr. Teresa Nicasio Show. I hope you've enjoyed the program, and until next time, fill your life with glitter, laughter, and love.